All right, aloha. Welcome, whatever camera's going, to another Aloha Friday drip. Man, I'm great. Let's get into it.
I'm grateful.
I don't know. I brainstormed. I didn't brainstorm.
You brain farted.
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did a little bit there, didn't you?
Hold on, I'm gonna take some of my Kua.
Zoa.
Jeez.
Welcome to this episode of the Growthcast. We're excited to have everybody here. We're not sponsored by Dwayne The Rock
Yet.
Johnson's energy drinks
Yet.
but who knows? One day. We're excited. We're grateful to be here.
I just do my grateful.
Is that your grateful clap?
It was. I didn't know it. But
It gets you in the
Yep.
in the mode. It's really hot. Ty and I are a little bit loopy.
Dude.
We're a little bit loopy today in recording. We're not going to lie. We do have some great stuff we want to cover today. An awesome topic. But it's 90 degrees in our office.
90 effing degrees.
It's so hot. I'm sweating as we sit here. We were going to record, but we're pushing through. We're not complaining.
Yeah.
We're here. We're grateful to have an office where we're able to do this and be able to have an audience that listens to us as well.
it.
We're very, very grateful for y'all.
Problem is the heat. You know what the solution is? Motherfucking grit.
Grit.
Determination.
Yes.
Let's go.
It's not going to stop
And
us.
aloha. Lots of aloha for y'all, which is love.
Yes.
All right, what are we talking about?
Today we're going to
So shout out.
shout out. We got some shout outs.
Yeah, just to love and to the Growthcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, let's dive in.
Also shout out to the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, the
That-
Kentucky Derby
yeah,
party.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was
fun.
Dude.
That was fun.
Jay showed up freaking sharp. You and Courtney, dude.
We did.
Just sharp.
We went all out. We definitely went all out. It was fun.
It was fun.
Shout out to Britt for putting that on.
Britt's amazing. dude.
Putting on those events and putting on those little get-togethers, meeting new people,
Yeah.
making new connections. It's awesome. It's awesome. Anyway, let's dive in here. Today we're going to talk about how to gain credibility when starting something new.
Okay.
Right, we have a ton of new investors, a ton
Yeah.
of new people that jump into the program, jump into what it is that we offer, and they're just getting started. And in multifamily real estate, credibility is huge. It's
Yeah.
very important.
In anything.
In anything, for sure. It is very important. But multifamily, legit, you have to have credibility. You have to be able to show that you can do this a lot of the times to be able to get these deals underway. So let's dive into that. Anything you want to start there? Anything you want to add on credibility and the importance of it before we dive in?
Yeah, I love it, dude, because I believe it's one of the biggest stumbling blocks
Yeah.
that new investors have, right? Or, dude, that really anybody has in anything, and it's this credibility. Because when we're starting something new, so what's credibility? Credibility is the ability to inspire belief, right? This power to inspire belief. So it's essentially, can I trust this person? But I also believe it goes a lot deeper than trust, right? What I mean by that is it's also, do they have what it takes? So trust is one thing. Yes, I trust that they're great people, but do they actually have the ability to do what I'm hoping that they can do?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So the ability. So the question becomes, I believe it becomes asking better questions. Where does this power come from? How do you build that? Who decides if you have it? Do you ever actually have it? How do you lose it? Those kind of things. But I'll tell you the biggest problem and why it's a big stumbling block, in my opinion, is most people look for it in the wrong areas. They believe that it's given to them from somebody else, right? When in reality, it's not given from anybody else. That's a byproduct of true credibility, but it's credibility isn't from others. You give it to yourself, right?
Yeah.
So many people think it's from other people. So what they're trying to do, they're hoping that that other people will view them as credible. They need to view themselves as credible. It's easy. Like we just did due diligence for passive investors, podcast or a
webinar
yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was actually about management team, like how to vet the management team. And one of the first things that I gave them questions to ask. And one of the first couple questions was, what's their background? What's their track record? What's their experience? Those kind of things, right? And so I think that's where people get off base. It's like, okay, well, how do you, of course, that once you have a background and track record and experience, well, then it's easier to be credible, right?
Right.
But how do you get that before? And once again, it's not about getting it from anybody else. It's about giving it to yourself.
Totally. Dude, that's so valuable. That's so valuable. It comes down to belief. Oh, man, that's such a valuable principle. Credibility is first given by you.
Yep.
You have to believe in yourself, right?
Totally.
It comes down to belief. We talk about this often on the Aloha Friday episodes is belief, but credibility is going to come back to belief every single time.
Totally.
Every single time. But when you say you have to believe in yourself first, what to give credibility? I want you to dive a little bit deeper into that. What do you mean? What do you mean by that?
Love it. So most of the time when you're starting something new, and I was trained this, I believe most people were probably trained this, right? Where it's like, well, dude, just fake it till you make it. We've all heard that.
Yeah.
Fake it till you make it.
Yeah.
And there is some power
Sure.
in that, meaning like mentally it's like, okay, and I don't mean truly fake. I mean, it's like, okay, it's almost like believe it until you become it, right?
I like that way better than fake
Yeah.
it till you make
Yeah,
it,
that
believe it
is.
till you become it.
Because fake
Tyler
is
Deveraux.
dangerous. Yeah,
Yeah,
quote by Tyler Deveraux, believe it till you become it. Seriously, please quote it out there. But dude, faking is so dangerous, dude, because it's ego driven. It's more about making it look like you have
Totally,
whatever it
dude.
is,
Yeah.
instead of actually doing what it takes to earn whatever that is. And that's a slippery trap, dude. Like, I remember going to, like, when I first started surfing, you know,
Yeah.
and I was like, all right, well, I remember my dad used to always say, you look good, you feel good. You feel good, you play good, you get paid good, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get the most bitching board. I'm going to look like a surfer. If I ain't going surfing until I have a little bit of a tan and bleached hair.
What?
So
Is that what happened?
I
Is
learned
that where
this,
it's called?
It's probably. I tried to bleach it, not with the sun, but with
Clorox.
and it fell out. But you know what? Kelly Slater, one of the best surfers out there.
Bald.
Really, it was a commitment to the process. But here's what happens. You get out there and very quickly, surfing, you're not going to fake it till you make it. Nature just has this unique way of humbling the shit out of you.
Yeah.
And surfing is, dude, it's about nature. You are literally out there in the water trying to catch this wet, like you're one with nature. That sounds really hippy dippy, but it's a fact.
You have to be in harmony with those waves if you're going to ride them. It's It's not an easy.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you could be paddling out there, have the best board, whatever. The minute you go try to catch a wave, everyone there is going to know yes or no.
Yep.
And I knew that, so I actually procrastinated going to surf for a long time because I was afraid that, people would be like, oh my gosh, this freaking guy out here. Because I've heard about surfing etiquette and all this kind of stuff, right? This guy, oh my, get out of my wave,
Yeah, and you may or may not have been called a kook as well.
I did get called a kook one time. That's a fact. But that guy was a kook. Okay? So faking it, though, here's what happens. If you're faking it, there's no room for mistakes, right? It means, and if you're faking it, let's say surfing is an example. You're out there, you're talking the talk, and then you make mistakes.
Yeah.
Well, what are people going to do? You freaking D-bag. Come on, man. They're going to harp on you.
Right.
On the flip side, if you're out there like, hey, man, and I'll tell you one of the things that I did. First time I ever go surfing, I was stand-up paddle surfing is what I tried. And I love stand-up paddle surfing. But I didn't know how to do that. And I actually taken a lesson for regular surfing, but I then tried stand-up surfing. First time I ever went out, I should clarify this. First time I ever went out by myself, right?
Yeah.
And I see this guy that's out there stand-up surfing. And I'm like, hey, bro, dude, it's my first time out here, man. What do you do? When do you switch your feet? Do you paddle in feet forward? Do you go side? What do you do? And he then goes to teach me.
Yeah.
And then what happens when I fall, I have people cheering for me, not knocking me down.
Yeah.
So now what happens is, if you're faking it, it just doesn't, like I mentioned this, but it doesn't provide any room for mistakes. And so the quickest way to grow isn't to fake it. It's to take the steps necessary for growth and just to understand that I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow. And people will help you learn and grow and become credible to yourself. So if we're trying to fake it, we know it mentally. We know that we're trying to fake it, right? And we don't feel credible. That's detrimental.
Oh my gosh. Dude, that is a golden nugget. Wow, that's amazing. If you didn't hear that, definitely go back and listen to it. But yeah, totally, dude. I've never even put that together. But when you're faking it, it's almost you're putting up a barrier for growth.
Yeah.
Because if you're faking it, you're already there, right? You've already grown. You already know how to do it.
Yes.
If you're faking it. So when you do fake it, you're literally cutting off the opportunity for growth.
Totally.
So
then when
that's
you make
huge.
these mistakes, right? If you're faking, you make mistakes. It's detrimental. You feel exposed. You feel embarrassed. It's almost like you can't recover.
Yeah.
Which means then, line save face, right? which means this temporary setback turns into some permanent failure. On the flip side, though, mistakes when we're truly growing, very different. Now they're learning lessons, and there's energy in learning lessons. There's excitement in learning lessons. We feel like we've earned that credibility because for two reasons. We're honest with ourselves about the process, and because we have actually learned to have what it takes. You've earned what it meaning I said credibility is more about trust, more than just trust. It's trust and does that person have what it takes?
Yeah.
Well, going through the growth process, you feel credible and you actually learn what it takes, right?
No, that's awesome. That's awesome. So we're talking about surfing. Use the surfing analogy.
Yeah.
But what are some steps that new investors can take to earn credibility?
Okay. I love that question, dude. And number one, I would say, and we've already talked about it briefly. We talk about it all the time, which is enhance your belief. Yeah. Okay, so now how do we enhance our belief, though, right? So it's like, okay, great. Now, how the F do you do that? Well, first, it's to realize that it's action-based. Like, it's action-based. So many people will start with, okay, let's increase my belief by... And affirmations are powerful.
Super.
Because affirmations help you take actions. I believe that to my core. And it's taking control of your internal dialogue, right? And it's funny, dude, because it's so fun. Driving home from the gym today, I was like, I won't go down this rabbit hole, but I was like, I need to change my affirmations. My affirmations have got me to where I am, but they will not get me to where I want to be. So you have to change that. So affirmations are imperative, but enhancing your belief really comes down to actions. This needs to be action-based, and it's these small actions, these small commitments, that's where credibility is formed. But that's so easy to overlook or to skip those small actions because they're small.
Yeah.
But those small actions are critical. So what small actions? You asked, what can new investors do?
Yeah.
And my answer to small actions would be wake up on time. When you say, whatever that means, whatever you say you're going to do,
small things, yeah.
I'm going to wake up on time.
Yep.
When my alarm goes off. I'm going to work on my business when I say I'm going to work on my business. I'm going to define what my commitments are, and then I'm going to honor those commitments, whether that be diet or gym or whatever. One of the most impactful things that I did in the beginning was I decided one of my first goals that I set within the multifamily space, which is interesting, was no mind-altering substances, and meaning alcohol, anything.
Yeah.
Mind-altering.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I used to have some problems sleeping, and so I'd also take, and I can't even remember.
Melatonin.
Not melatonin, but what's the sleeping pill? Gosh.
Oh, Ambien?
Ambien.
Okay.
Well, that's a mind-altering substance.
It is.
So what did I do? I removed all that. All of that.
Wow.
And I'm going to these networking situations, and people are like, hey, can I get you a drink and whatever. And it was amazing to be able to be like, nah, I don't drink. In fact, I get on a call with the trainer yesterday, and he's like, okay, so this is what we're going to do. We're going to diet plan, workout plan. He's like, now, one of the tough parts is, and I know this is going to be a big commitment, and I understand it doesn't need to be forever. And he's like, just
leading into it.
Yeah, he's like, but alcohol. I was like, yeah, I don't drink it. I drink water and sometimes a Zoa, but not for long if The Rock doesn't keep sponsoring us. But start. But I'm like, those little small commitments, diet, gym, you feel credible. Tell me you don't feel credible over the last little bit, because what do you do? You beat my ass to the gym every day.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, if I ever am there before you, which I was actually there before you today,
yeah.
But you went into the gym before I did.
Yeah.
Because I sat in my car. And I was just reading, and then you pulled up. I was like, oh, shit, okay, time to go. But, dude, your identity has changed.
It has.
I've literally seen it.
Yeah.
It's because you've been taking the actions, and then you're also recognize the actions you've taken.
Yeah.
So that's another thing.
Yeah. Can I add something right there?
Please.
Dude, I love take it just kind of almost backtracking a little bit. Affirmations lead to actions, and you taking actions on your affirmations, it's proving to yourself that you have integrity. to yourself.
Love that.
That's what's got to happen first.
Yeah.
It's like, how are you going to have integrity in any space that you're trying to become or become any sort of person if you're not being integratable? I don't even know if that's the right word. If you're not having integrity with yourself.
Yep.
You have to do the things that you tell yourself you're going to do, and that's going to lead to you feeling credible more than anything else. More than anything else.
It's money, dude, because the affirmations, if you think about that, if you're just doing affirmations with no actions,
it's not integrity. It's just words at that point. I honestly feel
you don't feel credible.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're like, well, this is what I'm telling myself, but you don't even believe it because you're not doing it. That's
right.
Good.
Yeah.
That's
you
great,
have to follow up on what you're telling yourself. That's just what I wanted to add there.
Yeah.
But I couldn't. But also to follow up on that comment that you made. Yeah, no, going to the gym's been insane. It's been awesome.
But recognize it.
Yeah.
I see you recognize it. And so many people take steps, but they don't give themselves credit for the steps. They don't. You have to. Like, in fact, anybody listening to this, what right now, and it's little things. I know this may seem simple, but what action have you taken? Well, you've listened to however many minutes of the podcast we've been going on to. You've listened. That's an action that you took. Now, you're learning actionables. Go take more action, right? So make sure that you continue to take action, but give yourself credit for the action that you've already taken. By giving yourself credit for the action that you've already taken, it will inspire you, encourage you to take more actions, and it'll change your identity.
Yeah.
Your actions have changed because your identity has changed,
Totally.
but your actions have been what's changed your identity. And those actions, if you didn't give yourself credit, would not change your identity. So you have to take the actions necessary, but then you also have to give yourself credit for the actions that you've taken, and that will assure that your identity changes so you continue to take more actions. Right?
Which is ultimately going to lead to more credibility in every space, whether that's with yourself, whether that's with somebody you're trying to gain credibility in a certain sect or a certain whatever you're doing. That's what all this is going to lead to is more credibility. But it's almost like a wheel. Like as you're explaining it, it's just like a wheel that leads into the next thing back to becoming and growing and just becoming your better self. That's awesome.
Yep.
That's awesome.
So another one would be, I would say, fall in love with learning.
Okay. Again, we're talking about what people can do to enhance. What was my question? To earn credibility.
Yes.
What steps can new investors take?
Once again, who are we earning it for or with? Who gives you that power? You do. Nobody else, dude. You gaining it with yourself is going to the natural byproduct is other people seeing you as somebody who's credible. But it all starts here, you know.
Totally.
So these are all things that you can do to build credibility within yourself. You know what I can't control? I can't control if Jackson thinks I'm credible. No. I cannot control that. No. I can't control if you think I'm credible. I can't control that. And if I get stuck on that, God, I'll be down a deep dark path. Because there are going to be people that think you're credible. There's going to be people that think that you are not. Meaning people that think you have what it takes and other people that do not believe that you have what it takes. Fuck them. Who cares?
Yeah.
Do you believe that you have what it takes? Sorry, Mom, for saying the F word. Do you believe that you have what it takes? That's the most important aspect. So falling in love with learning. One of my most favorite principles that Dallas has is the acronym LIFE, right? Mm-hmm. Learn, implement, fail, evolve. Well, what all learning is doing is preparing you to implement, preparing you to take action. So you just need to fall in love with learning, but also remember that you need to implement as well.
Yeah. That's why I'm glad we talked about action first.
Yeah.
We talked about action first. Action has to be the first thing.
Totally.
It has to be the most important thing that's going to help you earn that credibility is by taking action and actually doing the shit you're talking about. And then the second thing I guess, in priority would be learning.
Yeah.
Is learning those things to be able to take the action. But action is always going to be the most important step.
And it's funny because learning helps you take action.
Yeah.
But how many people do you know that get stuck in learning with no action?
Too many. A lot.
Tons.
Man, I know there's people listening to this right now that are stuck there.
Yes.
That are stuck in that place of I just want to learn. I'm just gaining knowledge right now so then I can go take action. No, those things are hand in hand and need to be happening at the same time.
Yep.
Yeah.
So the question may be, as we're thinking through this, how do I take those actions? What actions should I take? Because what if I don't learn enough? I guarantee this is a narrative. It's been a narrative in my head. That's why I guarantee. And I know it's a narrative because I've talked to other people. Yeah. It's like, I need to learn so that I can take the actions. Because what if I take the action and I lose credibility because I didn't do it the way that I needed to do it? Well, first off, let's go back to enhancing your belief. Let's go back to remembering who you're doing it for, and remember that it all starts with you. You can't control how anybody else thinks, but also remember that those failures, if you're faking it, then they take you off course.
Yeah.
But if, like, I'll see on our Facebook thread sometimes people will be like, hey, I have this call with this broker, and should I, if they ask me, should I talk about like that I'm new? Anybody who's ever done deals on the network page will be like, absolutely.
1,000,000%.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're not in this to trick somebody into giving us a deal. We're in this, or investing with us. We're in this to grow to be those people. It's growth. So what actions should you take? First off, take actions. But what actions should you take if you're nervous to take an action with a broker, an investor, or whatever? Go provide value. One of our biggest core values, one of our biggest principles is providing value. Help somebody else. Help somebody on your team. And what I mean by that is when I would learn, and still to this day, this is what I do. And Dallas does it, and you do it, which is this. Do you know what the Growthcast is, dude? It's a journal to document what we've learned. That's all it is. Let me give you a secret of Dallas's. Do you want to know how he comes up with all these drips all the time? Every day, a new drip? Well, he learns. And then he helps other people. He tells people what he's learned.
I actually asked him about his process on how he does it, and it is interesting, man. It's awesome how he does it. He prepares and he learns for these drips for sure.
Yes, that's what it is. When he's reading something, he's not just reading something to read. Mm-hmm. He's reading knowing he's going to share.
He's going to teach it. Yep.
When he's in a meeting, he knows that we've been in a meeting, and next thing I'll know is, a drip will come out where he'll talk about maybe, let's say something let's say that I'm handling the meeting. Well, he doesn't necessarily talk about what I've talked about. What he takes a different spin on what he learned, and like you can tell that he's taken some time to think a different approach and think. I love it, and I'll be like, oh shit, I like that approach, and then I learn from that. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like, so go provide value, man, and to whoever that is. Once again, a random stranger, your partner, your team, whoever, man, go help somebody. And providing values for others is how. Listen to me, how you enhance your belief in yourself as well. Yeah. You want to enhance your belief in yourself, go provide value to someone and watch what that does to that someone and how grateful that someone is. When somebody is grateful for you, it is damn near impossible to not feel credible, to not enhance your belief that you are a credible person, that you know what else it helps you do? Recognize the action steps that you've taken.
I don't even have anything to add there because that was so powerful. So what else? Let's move on to another step. Providing value for somebody, and that has been huge for me. Yeah. I started working with Ty. I'm going to share a little experience. I started working with Ty when I was 22. And I had very little experience in the real estate space. Very little what we were doing. We were selling at the time. I had very little sales experience. Providing value. I knew what I could do. I knew that I could be in the ballroom early. I knew I could set up chairs. Yeah. I knew I could straighten these things. I did what I knew that I could do to provide value where I knew that I could at that time. Yeah. And doing those things and stacking those things on top of each other as you're continuing to learn will enhance your belief and your credibility in yourself a ton. That's it for me.
Small things?
Yeah, the small things.
The small things.
Yeah.
It's the small things, man.
Do the stuff you can do.
Yeah. Yes.
Do those things.
Okay, so that's another one. Okay, so let's go there. I'm going to do this. Be selective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, don't make promises that you can't keep. Be selective to what you commit to. So many of us have been a yes man.
Yeah.
And I've been it.
I've definitely been it.
And why do we fall into that? Sometimes it's because we want to provide value. So it's like, well, I'm going to provide as much value as possible. But then what happens is if you say yes to everything, you are going to lose credibility with yourself because you can't say yes to everything and still perform.
No.
You're going to drop the ball. You're going to lose credibility with yourself. And so you have to be selective with what you say yes to, right? That simple process. Just literally being selective of, no, I cannot do that. No. Is huge, dude. It's massive. It's massive. I remember.
You want to know what saying no does for me? When I say no to certain things, it almost lights a fire in me. And like, why did I say no to that? But I say no because I know that maybe that task wasn't the best for me to handle or take care of. Yeah. But it also it lingers in my mind I need to learn how to do that.
Yeah.
So if it ever does come up again and needs to be taken care of, and I do have the ability or time to be able to do it, then I can say yes.
Yeah.
So it's not just saying no and never.
Yeah.
It's saying no, not right now, but then but remembering this is a need. Let me figure out how I can add value or help to that.
Yeah, especially if that's in line with your purpose and your why and your goals. So one of the things that you said right in the beginning was you said, I say no because I know that it's not the right task for me right now or whatever. Well, how do you know that? Well, you actually define what you're working towards. This is why I say definite major purpose is so powerful. It helps you be selective because when you define what your definite major purpose is, when you define your goals, like why is that so impactful? Because it's like, okay, well, is this truly what's going to move the needle to the goals that I have? And if it's not, then it's no, not right now.
Right.
It's just not a priority.
Right.
Like, dude, I'll tell you, at this level now, it's very difficult because people bring me shit all the time. Cool opportunities, man.
Yeah.
All the time. But I cannot do all of that. And so the trap that I fell into in the beginning was, oh my God, somebody's bringing me this bitch. Yes, absolutely. Nobody's ever brought opportunity. Yes. Then what happens is I drop the frickin' ball because I cannot do all of it. So it's getting very crystal clear on like, what is the priority?
What am I going to say yes to? Yep.
Right now, the number one priority for me as an individual and meaning this is my responsibility is to oversee we're putting together a whole new curriculum for our, which I'm so pumped about.
Path 2.0. We need to call it something like that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Dude. I'm so pumped about it because it's just but there's a lot of other distractions that could get in the way of that. But by saying, no, that's not a priority right now. No. Helps me stick to what I said that I was going to stick to.
Yeah, totally.
So be selective.
Totally. Yeah. So valuable. So valuable. Okay, so we covered quite a few steps here. Just to review, we covered enhancing your belief. Again, these are steps to take to earn credibility.
Can I say one more?
Yeah, definitely.
Which is remember past wins.
Okay.
And I think we probably even talked about this. Sorry, I just thought about it.
You're good. No, this is great. I was going to ask you if you had any more to share, so that's perfect.
It's part of giving yourself credit, but it's also so a new investor coming into the multifamily space and they don't have experience in the multifamily space. Well, okay. Remember your past wins. You have them. Define them and then talk about what those are. What are they? What have you done? What have you done that took effort and energy and commitment? And that's what people are looking for. Is this somebody that can stick to something and learn something and execute on that something? So you have to remember the past, but you have to remember the good from the past, right? And remembering the good from that also enhances your belief. Remember the good from the past. Shit that you've done that you're like, fuck yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. A lot of times just to remember, just to talk about those wins too, is a lot of times those wins can translate into something that you're trying to work towards. Meaning, a lot of those wins are going to teach you things about yourself that you didn't necessarily remember that you can use in whatever it is that you're trying to. That's what I've noticed is when I remember, like right now, I'm at a point in my life where I'm doing a ton of reflection.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of reflection, really thinking about my life in general and the things that I've experienced and the things that I've learned. And looking back at a lot of those wins, it really has helped enhance my belief in myself, which helps with credibility, right? Because you realize you can do hard things. You can do hard things. You've done them before. You've gotten through difficulties. And to remember that you can get over humps and you can do these hard things and you can win.
Yeah.
Even if it has nothing to do with what it is that you're trying to take down, remembering that you can do these hard things and win is so huge. Is so huge.
Bro, I love that, man. That's why I think it's a cool thing to surround yourself, or not surround yourself. You don't have to surround yourself, but take time to go and talk to people from the past, from your past. Now, obviously, there's some people that you should leave in the past, right?
Yeah.
But like, what I love is going. You said this of like remembering things about yourself.
Yeah.
Well, anytime I go home, meaning go home, visit to where I grew up, and my parents are there, my grandparents, my aunts, my uncles, my friends that I went to high school with, and it's like, I mean, they definitely mentioned dumb shit you did, it's just natural, but they also But you know what? You can also take that. The dumb shit that you've done and where you still are today reminds you that, you know what, you can progress.
Yeah.
But also just, like, they remind you of, I love how you said that, dude, that they remind you of things about yourself. Sometimes we forget about that.
We do.
And you're like, oh, man, you know what? I did do that. That was, gosh.
Yeah.
You know?
No, really, though. That's so important to do. It's so important to do, especially in those difficult times when you're maybe not feeling credible, when you're maybe not feeling like doing what you want to do, or you're feeling like giving up. Remember that you've done hard things. You've been through challenges, and through those challenges, you've learned how to get through the next challenges that come.
Yep.
So powerful. Awesome. So just to review these steps that we've talked about to earn credibility: enhancing your belief in yourself, doing the small things that are going to lead to those bigger commitments, and having that integrity in yourself first so others can have that same integrity with you, in you. Second thing was falling in love with learning. We talked about that. The acronym: learn, implement, fail, evolve. So, and the importance of being able to fail and being okay with that. Yeah. And learning from that. We talked about providing value. Providing value for somebody else is going to help you enhance your belief in yourself, that you can do things to add value, and that's going to ultimately help in your own credibility, which is going to help others have credibility in you as well. One of the other things we talked about was being selective in what you say yes to. Yeah. Don't say yes to things you know that you probably shouldn't. Yeah. That you know that it goes back to the fake it till you make it. Don't say yes if it's just going to be a fake yes. Yeah. You know what I mean? Say yes to the things that you know you can come through on.
It's a funny thing. It's saying yes doesn't mean you have to fully have the ability to, meaning the know-how, whatever, to do it. That's what I think people get off base too. Because how do you learn how to do it? A lot of times you learn how to do it by doing it.
Totally.
But we're talking more about capacity to do it.
Totally.
Is it in line with what you're truly working towards? Do you have the capacity? Even if you don't know how to do it, do you know what? I was listening to I was on one of my coaching calls, like meaning I'm,
being coached.
Yeah. And they talked about that. How, dude, it's like, I want to hire, they were saying, I want to hire people that I don't necessarily have to tell them everything to do, but they're smart enough to go to Google or to ask other people or to figure it out, right?
Yeah.
That's so powerful.
So powerful. Yeah. Thank you for correcting me on that and clarifying there. So those are the things that we talked about today, and then the last thing we talked about was remembering those past wins.
Love it.
So give yourself a pat on the back, those hard things that you've done.
Love that, dude.
That was awesome.
And you know what? And then just drilling this home, credibility starts and ends with you, the controllable. Small actions that lead to big mental changes. So
valuable. So valuable. This has been an awesome episode.
Yeah.
An awesome episode. Some great things we talked about for sure. Thank you. Thank you for your time and for putting together these thoughts, dude. For real. So vaulable.
Thank you for weathering through the storm in this hot-ass office, right?
I wasn't thinking about it. I'm trying not to.
I'm
I'm trying not to think about it.
It's cool.
It's cold in here. Do we want to end with a Hawaiian value?
Yes.
Yeah.
It is spelled Kupa', Kapua'a or something, which means to stand firmly on truth. So ku means, ku, I think is how you pronounce it. Ku is definitely how you pronounce it.
Confident.
But don't fake it till you make it. I'm learning. Okay, gosh damn. Every Hawaiian value is a humbling thing. Which means we probably need to spend more time learning how to pronounce Hawaiian words. We love them. We love the values.
I'm nodding for those that are watching. I definitely agree. We definitely should take some time to learn how to say things.
Let's do it. Yeah, we're doing it. That's something that we have the capacity to do.
For sure.
So ku means to stand, and pa'a means firm or solid. So the word kapua'a, I think is how you pronounce it, means to stand firm, steadfast, immovable, constant, determined, faithful, right? That's the surest way to gain credibility, is to do that. And how do you do that? Well, you do that internally with yourself. That's what you do, man. You honor self-promises. Yeah. Honoring self-promises is key, man. And we are so good at honoring promises for anybody and everybody but ourselves. The problem is if you don't honor the promises that you set for yourselves, then what do you tell yourself subconsciously? It's that you're not worth it, you can't do it, you don't believe in yourself. That's what you're telling yourself. Even if you're not doing it consciously, that's what you're saying subconsciously. Mm-hmm. So we have to consciously make commitments, keep those commitments. And big commitments, great, but small commitments
start there
will lead to big commitments. That's the surest way to gain credibility. And you are the one who gives yourself that power to instill and inspire belief, nobody else. So remember that. And then also, another way to gain credibility is to live always with aloha, man. Aloha, love, understanding, integrity, and just intention, an intention to do good in the world.
Totally. Awesome. Ty, thank you.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah.
Thank y'all for listening. Share, pay the price. If you learned something, gain some value, share, rate, review, whatever it is, man. We appreciate all of it. Live always with aloha. Have a great week. We'll see you.